Hi guys, Jimmy Fluke here for Apex Racing Academy. This is our Zolder track guide for the Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for week 12 of the Falcon Tire Sports Car Challenge. As well as these track guides, we're also giving away the Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for free this season, and that features the qualifying and race setups, the reference lap files, that's your B lap and O lap files, the replay file as well, the track guide, and then access to the group coaching sessions on a Tuesday evening. All you need to do is go to apexracingaz.com. There's a link in the description in order to put your email in to get that for free. So onto the track this week. Zolder's a really tricky circuit. A lot of challenges presented primarily through the chicanes, but the Mercedes is pretty good through the chicanes. It's maybe lacking a little bit of speed in the rest of the lap actually, but without further ado, let's get stuck in. Just to let you guys know, our Black Friday sale is now live. We're offering 40% off our annual silver subscriptions to Apex Racing Academy. The promo code is ACBF2024, link in the description. Hi guys, so into the lap here at Zolder. So turn one's quite difficult to get right, but we'll roll it through to here. And what I use as a reference is the tire mark here on the right hand side, just where you can sort of see it at its most visible point in this sort of area here is pretty much where we want to get onto the brakes. So just roll it through. Peak pressure there, just sort of north of 50%, and we're going to get down into third gear, just slowly course the car in towards the apex, and then trying to pick up an early throttle. We can sort of take as much or as little of the inside curb as we like, but if we just sort of catch it at a weird angle, the left side wheels will pop into the air. So try and avoid taking too much of the curb, or try and get the left side wheels inside of the curb. So as we roll it through, smooth onto the throttle, let the car rotate, and then crunch the throttle, tracking out using everything available to us on the way out. So all the way out over the green curbing. From here over to the left-hand side for the tricky second corner, up into fourth, and then braking sort of a car length or so before the gravel on the left-hand side here. It's very difficult to get this right. So smooth onto the brakes, down into the third, and as with turn one, just gently feed the car in towards the inside white line. In this case, we're not grabbing the inside curb, and picking up the earliest throttle that we can to maximize our run through turn three. So aggressive there onto the throttle, and then let the car arc out, using all of the red and white curbing, but not getting onto the anti-cuts wide of that, because the traction control will kick in and we lose our drive and momentum through the corner. So tuck the nose back in, up into fourth gear, bring the car over to the left-hand side for turn four then. So the access road on the left-hand side is our best guide and reference, so pretty much getting to that point. Gently does it onto the brakes, leaving the car in fourth as well, and just slowly feed the car in towards the inside curbing here. We can take a reasonable amount of curb here, again avoiding the anti-cuts, or we can take none at all on this lap. Sort of favoured very little curbing. The car sort of rotates a little bit better in that scenario. On exit, we can use the gravel on exit. Left side wheels into the gravel is absolutely fine. The gravel doesn't really slow us down. And as long as half the car doesn't go into the gravel, then we're good to go in terms of track limits. So over to the right hand side for the first of the very difficult chicanes, and we'll pause it here. So the 100 board on the right hand side is a good first initial reference, but what I like to use is the difference in tarmac texture here. So where there's sort of a stain or like baked in dirt, I guess, into the tarmac, I'm paying attention to that, but where there's a gap in it, so that's just after the 100 board, that's pretty much where I want to get onto the brakes pretty much every time. So strong onto the brakes, down into third, and in this case I did grab second as well. Peak pressure here, pretty high, but not like absolute full force onto the brakes, because we want control over the front end of the car here and being able to place the car accurately. So in this case I did grab second. Most of the time I actually get through here in third, but I felt like I needed to grab second just to help tuck the nose in. But the important thing here is taking as much inside curb as we can without touching the anti-cut curb here on the left hand side. From here though, we want to pick up the throttle, grab third very, very quickly, and straighten the wheel as early as possible, and aiming to straight line the right hander as efficiently as we can. So from here, ideally I don't steer at all. From here the car will stay level, and up over the curb we go. As you see, they're grabbing third on the way through. If you're just keeping the car in third the whole way through, then obviously you don't need to worry about the upshift, but in that lap I did require it. Making sure that the car lands as flat as possible to maximize our drive up and then back down the hill for the second of the chicanes. Track limits here on the way out, generally not too much of a concern. So up and down we go to the very challenging second chicane here. So pretty much as soon as the track levels off, I'm gonna say levels off, straightens out, we want to get then onto the brakes. So down into third and then second gear, open up the angle and feed the car in. Track limits here are arbitrary in terms of the slowdown penalty, so I'll just roll through how I like to do this. So right side wheels, pretty close to the edge of the anti-cuts on the right hand side, but not cutting completely over it. The driver's eye line here, pretty much in line with the left side of the anti-cut, and that works okay through the right. It's really important though to pick up a little bit of throttle on the way through because of the huge sort of dip in compression here, and then the car can pop up into the air if it's not taking the curb and the compression correctly. So it's really important to try and elevate the front end. So keeping the car in second. You could keep it in third actually just for pure traction reasons, but you know, quite low in the rev range. Through the left, same idea. Left side wheels pretty close to the edge of the anti-cut on the left hand side, and that seems to work okay. But in terms of what the actual track limit is in terms of the slowdown, iRacing won't disclose that info, sadly. So through here, keeping the car reasonably far over to the left hand side to try and open up the angle through the right. So we get to full throttle, bleeding out, taking a little bit of the inside curb, and then feed the throttle back through, and then tracking out using all of the curb available to us, and then back up into third gear. If done correctly, then the following right-hander here is comfortably flat out, like so. So up and back down a brow again, before getting onto the brakes for the hairpin. So braking about a car length or so before the 100 board. And this is a little bit more straightforward of a corner to get right. So down in the third and then second gear, turn the car in, and we'll also grab first on the way through. Loads of inside curb, pick up the throttle in the middle of the corner, open up the steering, crunch the throttle, grab second, use all of the curb on the way out. So nice, straightforward, traditional stuff with a straightforward hairpin. Up through the gears we go then towards the final chicane and the final sector as well. And so we've got two reference points on the right hand side here. We've got the 100 board on the right, and we've got the floodlight and the sort of pole for that on the right hand side here. Basically split the difference in between the two, so braking just after the 100 and just before the light on the right hand side. And this is a little bit more of a straightforward chicane in terms of what we're trying to do. So down into second gear from a reasonably strong peak pressure, feed the car in. Again, same sort of track limit as with the previous chicane. So left side wheels pretty much to the edge of the anti-cut, but not cutting over it entirely. I'm going to keep the car pretty far over to the left hand side. So throttling up as well, of course, before the curb to build momentum and raise the front end so that the car can handle it a little bit better. And then through the right, bleeding off on the way through, and basically the same track limit, taking as much of the curb as we're allowed to. Nice and smooth on the way through, and then trying not to get that little oversteer moment on the way out. But tracking out using all of the curb available to us. If you end up clipping a little bit of the dirt on the way through, you're probably okay because the car should be stable by this point. From here, it's a nice straightforward run to the line for a lap of Zolder. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go over to apexracingac.com for your free Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for the rest of the season. For further questions and info, join our Discord server, which you can access with your subscription. We host a group coaching session on a Tuesday evening where I can go through as many details about the car as you'd like. We've also got our Black Friday sale with 40% off our annual silver subscription, giving you access to all of our data packs. So apexracingac.com for that, with the promo code ACBF2024 to take advantage of the offer. That's all from me for this week. See you in the next one.